Programming is one of those skills that can set you up for the rest of your life. You can work in any industry. You can work 100% virtually. You can build your own projects. The list literally goes on forever. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gav, and today we'll be talking about why I decided to learn programming. If you like this kind of video, please remember to like and comment and subscribe, and drop comments below of what you'd like to see next. Right before the pandemic, I was in a bit of a weird spot in my career. I wasn't exactly the happiest person around. I didn't like what I was doing and I felt more or less stuck. See, I went to school for business and entrepreneurship, and I knew early in life that I eventually wanted to work for myself, or at least bare minimum have a side project to help supplement my income. So let's take this back a couple years. March 2020, and the whole world shuts down.
More breaking news to tell you about the NBA tonight, suspending its season until further notice.
Both saying they have the virus.
And despite record drops in the market recently,
and suddenly I have more free time than I have had in years. Aside from playing way too many video games, I took this as an opportunity to take a step back and figure out what is next. As I said, I was in a bit of a weird spot. I wish I was kidding. I literally completed every single online career aptitude test I could find. I started reading every single personality-based article I could find. If there was any sort of career quiz I could take, I would take it. Funny enough, not a single one of those quizzes actually pointed towards programming. They all pointed towards careers in like hospitality or social work. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those careers, but I just knew they weren't for me. Here we are a month into the pandemic, and I'm playing way more World of Warcraft than I probably should, and I get this ad from Udemy about learning Python. Until this moment, I have never heard of Python. I knew Java purely because of old school RuneScape. I had no idea how it worked, granted, but I knew that Java and RuneScape went hand in hand somehow. Anyway, I pop over to Udemy, I see the course is $10, so I buy it right away.
Several months later.
3 months later, I still haven't opened the course. Cool way to spend money, right? It was clearly an impulse buy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't the happiest person in my career. The online quizzes didn't help, and so I decided I should take a different approach. Through one of my many YouTube rabbit holes, I came across this approach of taking a notebook and writing out the 3 pillars that mean the most to you and that define you most as a person. Each pillar I knew represented a key piece of what made me, me. So the first pillar I wrote was the desire to create. Now, ever since I was 14, I wanted to be a content creator and a YouTuber. I love creating and entertaining, so I knew whatever I chose, I had to have the ability to do this, at least in some capacity. The second pillar was financial stability. I know that one day I want a family and I want kids. I also don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I've done that before early in my career, and it's an absolutely terrible feeling. Whatever career path I chose, it had to give me the ability to earn good money and also feel comfortable. The final pillar was having the potential to work for myself. Now, this wasn't about quitting my job or starting my own entrepreneurial venture, but I knew I didn't want to rely solely on someone else for my livelihood. I had friends who lost their jobs during the pandemic, and this scared the absolute shit out of me. One day you're working, no problem. The next day you're sitting at home without a job trying to figure out how you're going to pay for rent. This scared me. So there we had it. I had my 3 pillars laid out. Next, I took another piece of paper and I wrote out every single idea I had for a career. And I mean every single idea, no matter how ridiculous they seemed. Should I become a cop? Should I go back to school? Should I quit my job and become a full-time YouTuber? Sell all my things, buy a van, and just travel across the world? The van idea I think is still a real contender, so let's not write that one off yet. After writing out all my ideas, I compared them to my pillars. If they didn't meet all 3, then I scratched them out. As I went line by line scratching out these ideas, the list got really thin. As I'm looking through these handful of options, I come across programming. It's funny because I actually considered scratching this one out because I couldn't really see how programming and being creative were related. But because it was such a strong contender in the other 2 categories, I decided to just leave it there, put a star next to it, and I'd circle back later. So I decided I'd research programming a little more, and like anyone else trying to figure out their life, I went straight to YouTube. And I searched literally everything. Are programmers creative? Can programmers be creative? Do programmers like their career? Are programmers happy? What kind of careers can you have as a programmer? And as I'm searching this and watching these videos, I came across a bunch of different YouTubers in a bunch of different niches. And as I'm searching all these videos, I started to realize how big of a niche programming really is. I'd watch a Danny video that mixed game development and pure chaos. I came across Chow Codes, who had a much chiller vibe but was a self-taught dev as well and was trying to break his way into the tech industry. And then it kind of started to click. So I could be a YouTuber and I could be a programmer. I could be creative but also build an in-demand, high-paying career. So maybe this would be the right move for me. It would be a lot of work, but the upside is there. I decided to go back to Udemy and check out that course that I purchased all those months ago.
A few moments later.
Oh God, what is my password? That's not it? All right, let me reset this. Oh God. It's gonna take forever. As I worked through the first part of the course, it kind of became clear to me. Learning programming would hit all those key pillars that I laid out before. It would allow me to be creative, have financial stability, also build side projects that could one day earn a side income. Now, I'm still learning programming and trying to figure out where in the space I want to be. I have a lot of projects I want to start building and a lot of ideas I have to figure out how I'm going to do. But what I've learned over the past year is to start small. Build those small projects first. Get those small wins under your belt. Now, I don't work in programming yet, but one of my goals in 2022 is to build out those projects and eventually guide my career towards it. So there you have it. That's why I decided to learn programming. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe. If there's other video topics you'd like me to cover, comment them below, and I look forward to talking soon.